again, everyone. Welcome to Portland's Memorial Coliseum, our final Blazer cable game of the year and tonight's NBA report. The Western Conference semifinals are very much like a 7-course meal. For Trailblazer fans, the appetizer was somewhat distasteful, and it turned that way in a short span in the fourth and final quarters. We'll see tonight whether the second course, the salad, is that much more appetizing before these teams take their show to Los Angeles for games 3 and 4. On tonight's program, again, our final cable game of the year, we thought we'd offer a different perspective than our traditional menu of features. Mike Rice will have a chance to sit down with Bucky Buckwalter and Brad Greenberg. These are the men who are largely the architects of the current team and responsible for the direction the team goes in the future. So we'll talk about putting this team together and about this year's collegiate crop of outstanding college talent as we look forward to future Trailblazer years into the mid-1990s. And, of course, we'll come back later on and look in depth at tonight's Portland-Los Angeles game, too. But let's get things started the right way and bring in our expert analyst, Steve Jones.
Well, since you're talking food, I guess we better serve up a light appetizer here and get everybody ready for this ball game by talking about the ball game that's already in place. The Chicago Bulls taking care of business and winning very comfortably. Right now, it is a tired Detroit Piston team that they're facing. What I think really is the difference, though, is in graduating to the NBA Finals, the Chicago Bulls have finally arrived as a team. They have mental toughness. They have physical skills. They are no longer intimidated by the Detroit Pistons, who are also ailing a little bit with injury. So you put all those combinations together, this could be a much shorter series than anyone expects.
Would Detroit be able to turn that around when they get things back at the Palace? Or, in fact, is Detroit just too tired and too hurt to stop Chicago's Express this year?
They are too tired, and they are awfully hurt. Their hope is that somehow the Palace will be a jewel for them in some way or another. They'll be able to come back with a win in game 3 and 4 to tie it up and rejuvenate themselves. But I think that that's really the key in the series is whether they can win in the Palace. That's what Detroit is hoping, that somehow it's going to be tough for them to win in the Palace and that they'll be able to get a game in Chicago. They feel they can win in Chicago, but the way they're playing right now, it's not going to happen.
In 2 of the nation's 3 largest cities, there is joy. In Los Angeles, there's Magic Johnson and a team that leads the Blazers. In Chicago, there's Michael Jordan and a team that's about to go up 2-0 on Detroit. What are they doing in New York?
They're looking for the coach. And that should happen. I always feel like this and say any minute, but within a couple of days. New York is on a timetable where they'd like to announce Pat Riley this week. I'm sure that it is going to be a done deal this week, and then it will be interesting to see what Pat Riley can do differently than other coaches have done. All of the talk right now is about everyone being on the same page and the coach having a certain amount of autonomy and being able to communicate with his players and participate in any kind of management decisions. Right now, he's got a great hand that he's dealing from, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't want those 5 deuces.
Let's deal you our first of 3 trivia questions, then we come back as Mike Rice talks with Bucky Buckwalter and Brad Greenberg.
What they won't do in commercials these days by Miller Lite, I mean, they resort to all sorts of tactics, brainwash. Now, take Miller Lite 6-pack. They would have you believe that it's America's favorite light beer because it has great Pilsner taste. Gonna love it. But at the same time, they try to convince you that it's because it's less filling. Tastes great. I mean, come on, by Miller Lite. What do they take me for, Big Star? Seriously.
Is Miller Lite America's favorite because it's less filling or tastes great? Yes.
Hi, your place. Would you like to join me for a light? Your treat. It's on me.
Okay, but it's my treat.
Oh, great. Okay.
Hey, beautiful.
If something amazing happens to you, isn't it great to be able to share it with a friend?
Yes, and he called me beautiful right there on the street.
Whether they're near or far, give them a call on GTE.
Yes, and some days you just have to fight the ball.
For $3 or less a day, you can put anything in the Oregonian's Economy Classifieds and make it fly. At $3 or less a day, The Oregonians economy classifieds can make almost anything fly.
Not long ago, we asked Toyota truck owners with 100,000 miles to tell us their story. They did by the thousands. The letters kept coming from all over the country, from satisfied ranchers, electricians, park rangers, firefighters, over 14,000 of them. Each one a 100,000-mile truck story. That adds up to 1.4 billion truck miles. And the letters keep coming. I love what you do for me.
About a lot of things, but not too much about how a team is put together. Everybody would like to be a general manager, they think. But when I looked at the 11 lotto teams the other day on NBC, I looked into their eyes, and they really thought that maybe this #1 pick would help them over the hill. But if you look at the Clippers year after year, they get a high draft pick and always win 25 games. It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
Well, no, it's not, Mike. First of all, these people in the lottery are going to get pretty good players, but that is not going to be a franchise for them. They're going to be a part of an overall picture. The first thing you have to do in developing a franchise is develop a philosophy and decide what it is you want to do, what kind of team you want to put on the floor. And some of these franchises have done that, and some have not done it so well. If you're going to be an up-tempo team, if you're going to be a breaking team, obviously you would want to draft a little different player than the team that is going to play more of the half-court control game. So that's the first thing you have to do, is decide what kind of game you want to play, get the coach that can coach that kind of game, and then fill the roster with players who can do that.
You know, a lot of the writers, and I noticed this in a lot of the NBA cities, they want action. They want trades. They want this. They want that. And 3 years ago, this franchise went through a lot of the writers saying they should break up the team. Must feel good to look back now and see that you did the right thing.
Well, it's easy to make trades. We felt that we had a nucleus of 4 very good athletes, and that was essentially what we were starting with, was trying to get good athleticism in our core group. We had Terry, Clyde, Buck, Duck, and Jerome, and we wanted to keep them together. If you take one of them out of that group, then you have to replace him, obviously. So what we wanted to do was to keep them together and then try and add to it as best we could. And fortunately, we were able to get Buck, and that completed that first group, and we had a very strong starting group, and then we were able to build around it with the Danny Ainges and Walter late in this year. So you have to have a philosophy, and you'll get a lot of advice from a lot of people and a lot of things that you could do and should do, but you have to stay with it, and sometimes the key word is patience. You have to believe in what you're doing.
You ever walk by any of the writers and go, I told you so?
No, that's all part of the job. You have to take people, and they're second-guessing, and that's because there is so much interest in the NBA and in the Portland Trail Blazers. That's great.
Brad, what is the most important element in looking at players? The draft is coming up June 26th. Is it the college seasons, the all-star games, the games in Chicago, hearsay, the magazines? What do you do to put together the information on players?
Well, you try to get just a complete picture of these players, looking at a lot of things, certainly their skill level, certainly their physical attributes, and some of the mental characteristics that are necessary to be a good player. But you try to get as much information as possible to get a complete picture, and you don't really go off of just one look or a regular season game versus a postseason game. Every single time you see a player, you know, that's just adding to that picture, and hopefully come draft day you have a clear picture of the whole pool of players available and can make a good decision.
How many people take part in putting all this information together?
Well, you know, myself and Keith Drum, our scout based out of Charlotte, you know, are out the whole season seeing a lot of players. Bucky will focus on the premier players during the course of the year and the players that we feel are going to be more of a focus. And this year, Jeff came in and got a chance to see some players play in some of the postseason events. So, as a group, we try to just come up with a nice list of players we think have a chance to become NBA, players and help a team. And, we try to just narrow that group to a select few that we all feel comfortable can add to the team.
I noticed early in the year, our owner deals with Microsoft. You use the computers a lot to have this information. Is this high tech? Is this different than the other NBA teams?
Well, what we've tried to do is just pool as much information and allow the computer to help us sort it out. The computer isn't going to give us the name of the player we'll select, but it is a way to accumulate a lot of information and make it a little bit more readable, so when we look at that information, we can maybe see some trends and maybe just check to make sure we're on the right path sometimes in putting our final group of players that we're going to focus on together.
Bucky, I remember Chuck Noll in Pittsburgh made a statement famous about the best athlete available. When you go in and look at the draft, do you draft for a need, or do you take a player that you know is a great athlete? You look at the Portland team, a lot of great athletes. What is your philosophy going in?
Well, several years ago, we sat down and developed a philosophy that we were going to place a high premium on athleticism, and Jerome Kersey is a perfect example of a guy who was a very good athlete who, at the time we drafted him, wasn't a particularly good basketball player. But he was focused into becoming one and worked very hard. And as you know, his athleticism has come together with his basketball ability, and he's become one of the premier players. So the first thing we look at is a good athlete, one who can run and jump. The NBA game is such a quick game. He's got to be quick, a good runner, and have a good feel for the game and be very competitive.
The top teams now, since the draft is only 2 rounds now, do you look more for trades when you're a top team to improve, or can you still do it through the draft if you're picking 54th like we are?
Well, I think you have to do it in the combination of ways, and if you look at our team, we have several that we have gotten through the draft as well as through the trades. And in the last few years, Brad and Keith have done a very nice job in working in the college areas, and we have supplemented these players with a Danny Ainge and a Walter of the last 2, and then we, in trades, got Buck Williams, of course, and Kevin Duckworth. So it's kind of a combination of things, and you look at your team, as we will do at the end of this season. We'll sit down and evaluate where we are, and all the coaches will have input and say, we feel very good about these players, and I think from 1 to 12 we have a very good team, probably as good as there is in the league. But you're always trying to improve. I think you have to do that, and whether we're able to do that or not this year or not is hard to say. We don't have our first-round draft pick, as you know. Gave that up for Danny Ainge, and our pick this year is the 54th pick in the draft. So whether we will use that pick to take a player, trade that pick, or trade up to try and get a player, we will be talking about considerably between now and the 25th of June when the draft comes around.
It is Portland's Memorial Coliseum and the calm before the storm. Fans have been pouring through the gates at the MC for the last 20 minutes and are sitting in anticipation of the arrival of the Trailblazers and Los Angeles Lakers on the floor, then the introduction of the starting lineups and all of the dramatic play-by-play action. Here at the Coliseum, we want to give you an update on the Chicago-Detroit game. They're about halfway through the 4th and final quarter. Chicago continues to maintain a double-digit lead. The last time I checked just moments ago, that margin was 14. You know, Bucky Buckwalter has had an interesting and varied background. Most of it is in basketball. As a standout player at the high school and college level, he has been a head coach, assistant coach, scout, assistant director, and director of player personnel. One of the interesting things about Bucky's background is that for a guy who came out of La Grande, Oregon, he also had the opportunity to work in a couple of movies. One, McHugh, with John Wayne, and the other with the late Jeff Chandler. It was called Pillars in the Sky. How interesting that that would be the slogan of much of what Bucky would do as a professional in the basketball world, looking for guys that were 7 feet and above to go on the basketball floor, pillars in the sky. We'll return with part 2 of our interview, Bucky Buckwalter and Brad Greenberg, when the NBA report continues after this.
Grandkids were never content to let me sit around. Then I realized if I could keep up with them, I could keep up with anybody.
It's time to fire up the Weber Kettle Barbecue at this hot price, just $49.99. Relax in Keller Mardi Gras Outdoor Web Furniture, chair, beach chair, or Chase Lounge, on sale now at Payless. Payless Drugstore, helping you get the most out of life.
No one can guarantee you a perfect world. A world where the unexpected never intrudes. But some of us know we'll be taken care of, quickly and compassionately. In an imperfect world, you're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
Quick, name the company that can meet virtually any computer need. For any architect, any accountant, any engineer, any writer, any designer, any scientist, any typographer, or anyone else. Any guesses? NEC.
Computerland, business to business.
Came over to KEX. It was nice to watch him on TV, but I'd rather hear him on the radio.
Scott Lynn in Sportsline.
People have an opportunity to call in, voice their opinion, ask questions. Scott is very knowledgeable about sports. He's been around for a long time, and he knows what he's talking about.
Well, you got him fooled, Scott.
If I was making any bets, I'd probably talk to him first.
That may not be such a safe bet.
He really makes you feel like your opinion is important when it comes to the topic of sports.
In fact, your opinion is the most important one. Call me.
Scott Lynn on 1190 KEX.
Was the draft, Brad, more exciting in the old days when they had 8 or 10 rounds, or now is it more exacting? You have to know, you have to be exact to make sure you get the 1 or 2 picks you're going to use?
Well, there was an added benefit of having more rounds in past years because it made it a little bit easier to put together a summer league team when you had 5 or 6 more players to draft that you knew would come to your summer camp and play on your rookie squad. But right now, you know, with the 2 rounds, you know, that's sufficient. The chances of a 3rd or a 4th round player making a team are, you know, is so rare. I mean, it could happen, and I would love to have maybe 1 more round in the draft, but it's 2 rounds now, and you just have to try to get maybe some of those players that might fall through the cracks if, you know, with you in the summer as free agents. We were lucky a couple years ago to sign Ramon Ramos, who wasn't drafted, and you know, he made our squad and would have been a fine NBA player had he not had the accident. So every once in a while a player will slip through that isn't drafted, that if you feel comfortable enough that he's an NBA player, there are ways to go ahead and try to add him to your team.
Let's get into a few names now of players that are out there college-wise. And then I'll try to make a couple of guesses who might be available in the 54th pick, and you tell me right or wrong. We talked a lot early in the year with Clyde Drexler and some of the players, Larry Johnson versus Billy Owens. If you were Charlotte, do you go by your needs, or do you look and say Billy Owens is going to be more desirable in the long run than a Larry Johnson? If you were Charlotte, which player would you look at?
The Charlotte people have said they're going to choose from between Billy Owens, Anderson, Johnson, and Mutombo. I think it's a wonderful position to be in because they can use any one of those players and fit them into a pretty good group. I am a big Billy Owens fan, as you know, and you and I have had some discussions with Clyde. Clyde likes Larry Johnson, the fine UNLV player. I think Larry Johnson is going to be an outstanding NBA player. His size bothers me a little bit. People say maybe he's a little like Dantley in that he can move and do some of these things inside, because Larry Johnson's only about 6'5 and a half, 6'6 at most. But he doesn't really have quite that feel inside that Adrian Dantley does, and yet he is stronger, and there are some other aspects to a game, maybe more range on his shot that you like. But I think Billy Owens is a player who has played in his position, has excellent NBA skills for the 3 spots. So I like Billy Owens, and he'd be my shot if I were picking in Charlotte's first round.
Let's go later in the draft now. The first 8 players everyone pretty much knows. When you get down to there, do you come to that Chuck Noll attitude? Someone took the guy we really like, let's go with the best athlete, or do you look at this team and say, well, maybe we're a little thin at the point guard? Do you draft for position back there? And can you give us any names that might be available, Brad, around then?
Well, when we get to the spot, 54, we know it's a long shot to find a player that's going to be good enough to make our team. We were kidding around a little bit earlier. There are some players that we're focusing on and hope that they do slip through the cracks and are available when we pick. But they're not the kind of names that we're going to mention right now on TV. So we'll keep them tucked away. But there is a chance that we could come up with a player from one of those schools with a hyphen or something like that that might have a chance to crack the roster.
How about a guy like Mark Brown of Siena? Earlier, he got a lot of publicity. Would he be a guy that would be available around that time?
Well, I think there's a chance that Mark Brown would be available late in the second round. He's a quick fellow who's a good ball handler and a good shooter, but he's probably only about 5'10", 5'11", and weighs about 145 pounds. So, he's going to have his work cut out for him surviving in the NBA with some of the strong bodies he's going to have to compete against. One more name from a guy from Western Pennsylvania, Myron Brown from Slippery Rock. The Brown Day. Myron is a NBA athlete. He excited some people with his quickness and speed and jumping ability, and kind of emerged in some of the All-Star events a month or so ago. But what he'll be battling is lack of experience playing against, the quality competition, and such a big jump going from a school like Slippery Rock to the NBA that it may take a little bit longer adjustment period for a player like that to get to an NBA roster. And, it would take, I think, a real specific situation for him to be able to crack a roster next year. How many names do you have? How many names do you look at going in? You're the 54th pick. How many names do you have to get ready for that pick? Well, we started the year, with a pool of well over 200 names that we tried to narrow down. But, we'll go into the draft with hopefully 54 names that we like enough, so that one of them will be there when we pick. Right now, we're up to about 44, so we got 10 more to go before the 26th of June. Let me ask your name, Bucky, at the end of this, a name of the past that fans still call in and ask about, Sabonis. What is his status?
Arvydas Sabonis is still in Spain. He had an injury last year that hampered him somewhat. He still played and had a very decent year. Finished up fairly strong and led his team to the second round in the playoffs. We're not sure what exactly is going to happen next year. It looks like he will have an operation. Probably that will take place in Spain, but whether he comes over and plays in the NBA this year or not is still pretty much problematical. So we'll wait and see. How did Chicago lose Kukoc or whatever? Is it just a money deal at this point now with the Europeans? Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I think there is a desire probably on his part to perhaps play in that league maybe before he takes a shot at the NBA. The reasons that they're giving, of course, is a lot of the problems that in his home country of Yugoslavia they are having, and the unrest there has made him a little concerned about his family and friends. So he wanted to stay fairly close to home, and this is the reason he's giving, at least at this point. One last question.
will the results of the playoffs with the Los Angeles Lakers, will it determine at all what the pick will be later on? Will you look at the playoffs and that exact to make your selection, or will it just come down to the best player?
Well, I don't think that we're going to overreact to one series after our team has played so well for 100 games this season. You know, you want to look at every single game, you know, and have it somehow shape where you think, you know, the next move should take you with a team. But our team has had such an outstanding year, and we have such a good group of players that you're not going to overreact because of one specific series or one game. You know, we can identify, I think, the direction to go at the end of the season without overreacting to maybe one series.
Really isn't as easy as it looks, is it, building a franchise?
No, it isn't, but it's what makes it so interesting, and Brad and I enjoy it, and it's been very rewarding to see the team perform this year. Now on to L.A. and Rip City.
To make a special point about the BP credit card, my assistant Bernie has been practicing magic.
Presto change-out.
Very impressive. Bernie has just demonstrated why more and more people are coming to BP. You see, now cash and credit are the same price for gasoline or anything else. So apply for a BP card now. Bernie, my card, please. That's my wallet.
The card's inside.
Oh, where's my money?
BP, credit card convenience, same price as cash.
What are you waiting for? The Horizon Shuttle has flights every half hour between Portland and Seattle. The Horizon Shuttle. Why wait for anything else?
Most grocery stores want you to run to save a penny here, a penny there. But at Fred Meyer, you can shop whenever you want and save on favorites like Pepsi for a taste that's a generation ahead, and refreshing Diet Pepsi, Slice, and Mountain Dew. Lay's potato chips taste great anytime, and Santitas tortilla chips will complement your famous dip. Save with over 10,000 lower prices every day. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
We're throwing a party to help our former teammate, Ramon Ramos, who is still recovering from a serious car accident.
Join us July 20th for a great all-star game, including all of us and other big-name players.
So join us July 20th and help Ramon get back on his feet.
Tickets on sale now at all Ticketmaster outlets. All profits will benefit the Fund for Ramon Ramos.
Portland Trailblazers on the floor at Portland's Memorial Coliseum, and a moment ago our panoramic shot swept from the high reaches of this arena all the way down to the hardwood as 12,884, the 430th consecutive sellout, are here tonight expecting a different outcome, Steve, than they saw in Game 1. So many people have asked about Game 1. In just a moment, we'll be getting your expert opinion on that. First of all, we have our national anthem at center court, and a young 8-year-old girl, Shayla Clevin, is going to sing. So let's go to center court, 8-year-old Shayla Clevin, our national anthem. Outstanding ovation and warm round of applause for 8-year-old Shayla Clevin. Many of you may know her emotional story. Vision impaired, has had eye operations, got involved in music, very interested a year ago, and tonight a dream come true singing the national anthem here at Memorial Coliseum. All right, that is going to do it for tonight's NBA report. Stay tuned. In just a moment, the pregame commentary and analysis of Steve Jones, our starting lineups, and all the play-by-play action. Game 2, Western Conference Finals here at Memorial Coliseum.
So, do you call yourself Mary Lou or Lou?
Yes.
Do you wear spandex all the time, or is it a Tuesday thing?
Yes.
I see you're drinking America's favorite light beer, too. Now, is that because of the great Pilsner taste, or because it's less filling, so you can keep on wearing that, incredible?
Yes.
So what'll it be? Is Miller Lite America's favorite because it's less filling or tastes great?
Yes.
Do you ever say no?
Yes.
You know, having your own apartment is no piece of cake. I mean, you gotta buy a lot of stuff. Things we never even considered, like floor mops, irons, pot holders, frying pans. You even have to buy your own shower curtain.
Lovely.
Yep, this independent living has opened up a whole new world. In fact, who knows? Next week, we might even try washing a load of clothes.
Payless Drugstore, helping you get the most out of life.
Why can't it be wrong? If you're not on the Horizon Shuttle, think of what you're missing. With flights every half hour between Portland and Seattle, you're never late for a Horizon Shuttle. Just a little early for the next.
When celebrations call for your famous twice-baked potatoes, crispy fried chicken, and creamy root beer floats, you should never have to worry about your time or your budget. And that's okay, because we give you lower prices on your family's favorites every day. So instead of spending time chasing specials, you can spend your time on the important things. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
Blazer Cable continues with first half stats in a moment.
So it's just a matter of going out on the floor and proving it.
I think when we're playing sort of dirty basketball in terms of getting down in the dirt, that's where a more effective basketball team. And tonight I came out with a jack that we're going to play very aggressive basketball, and it became contagious, and that's the kind of basketball our team has to play in order to beat the Lakers.
They did to us what we did to them in the last couple minutes of the first game.
I think they just played harder. You know, they might have wanted it a little bit more than we do.
And so the series now goes to the Forum in Los Angeles. Game 3 Friday in L.A. at 7 o'clock. Game 4 Sunday at 12:30. Over in the Eastern Conference.
I think we are. Houdini in duplicate, 109-98. The Blazers win it over the Los Angeles Lakers to even the NBA Western Conference Championship Series at a game apiece. Bill, I looked at it as the 3 Ps down the stretch: physical play, poise, and production by the Blazers down the stretch in Game 2 as opposed to Game 1.
This was a very strong game for the Trailblazers tonight. They did pretty much everything right. They controlled the tempo from the very beginning. Porter, Drexler, Ains, they were all coming out and just taking the ball aggressively to the hoop right away, not standing around waiting for things to happen. There's 2 types of basketball players: those that go and make it happen, and those that wait for it to come to them. Tonight, the Blazers took it right to the Lakers. They were very strong in every aspect of the game, statistically dominated the Lakers, controlled the flow throughout. But when I look at this basketball game, I look at the contribution that Buck Williams made. This is the strongest game I've ever seen Buck play, even though he only played 20 minutes. He only had 8 points, 11 rebounds an average game for him, but the intangibles, the toughness, the physical play, the double teaming all over the court. He was double teaming Magic at half court, in the back court, everywhere. I thought he was going to die of exhaustion out there. He was playing so very, very tough.
And we talked about leadership down the stretch, perhaps absent in Game 1, and Clyde Drexler took over that role when needed in the final moments.
Rick, at practice yesterday, I spoke with both Clyde Drexler and Buck Williams and mentioned the lack of leadership that I perceive in the first game for the of this series. Both players stepped up and played very aggressively. When Clyde Drexler gets offensive rebounds, particularly off his own missed shots like he did tonight and in the first game, you know he's really going for it. Plus, Buck Williams, he was just going wild out there. I haven't seen a whipping put on people since Maurice Lucas did that to Don Ford in the '77 series against the Lakers. A very strong game for Buck Williams. I know he won't sleep tonight. I doubt if I'll ever get to sleep after that one either.
Okay, conversely about the Lakers, what made it slip away for them?
Lakers had a very poor performance out of Vlade. They just nothing in this, except for the fourth quarter of Game 1. Perkins played well. I think that's the best Sam Perkins has played in these first 2 games since he left North Carolina. His career at Dallas showed nothing what he's showed so far. Worthy very up and down tonight. He had some good stretches, but mostly he had inconsistent shooting, inconsistent shot selection, did not really get much done at all. And then down the stretch, they failed to execute it all. Worthy missed a free throw, Perkins missed 2 free throws, and then Magic Johnson uncharacteristically down the stretch. I thought Magic was overpassing very much tonight. Clyde Drexler did a fantastic job of containing Magic Johnson, keeping him in front, using his quickness, using his size. Clyde Drexler's a very big basketball player. Magic was overpassing. He missed a 3-pointer, and he had a traveling violation waiting for the refs to bail him out.
Nothing you usually see from Magic Johnson. End result, it goes into the victory column for the Portland Trailblazers, now evening this Western Conference Championship Series. And Schatz was at the contest watching the entire game, and give us your synopsis.
The Lakers were feeling it and got after it to open up the ball game. Magic and Byron Scott doing it all. L.A. up 11-5. Portland looked flat, but this play got the joint cranked up. Clyde steps in for the steal, and he puts a little extra into the slam. Oh, that was pretty. The aggressive Blazers owned the boards the whole way. Jerome just will not quit. Portland by a deuce, and the lead kept growing. Clyde was sensational. 10 points in that first stanza, and then it was Buck Williams with a nifty reverse, looking like a young Buck. Portland by 9. Now, the Blazers were a bit cold to start the second quarter, and L.A. cut that lead to 1. But Portland managed to keep the slim cushion. Another acrobatic Buck effort, pretty shot. Clyde went scoreless in the second quarter, and it's a good thing Porter and Ains were popping. But Byron Scott hit back-to-back jumpers, this one at the buzzer, 56-52 Portland at the half. Things stayed tight in that third quarter. Terry Porter's three-pointer put Portland ahead to stay. Then it's Clyde taking it right to the rack, flows right past the L.A. defense. What a game by Drexler. Kevin Duckworth helped keep the Lakers at bay. He hits, he's fouled, 81-77 Blazers after 3. Here's how the fourth quarter started. So typical of the hustling Blazers tonight. Great save by Duck. Jerome will finish it. He's fouled. That was a huge, huge play. These 2 heavyweight teams just kept creating punches. Terry Porter with the dandy. James Worthy was starting to heat up, burying some tough jumpers. but Portland answered every LA run. Better take cover on Cliff Slam. The lead was back to 7. Drexler played 43 big minutes, but he was still jumping out of the building. Terrific board work. The Blazers were nursing the 4-point lead. 3 minutes to go when LA committed 3 straight turnovers. The Lakers, plain and simple, folded tonight. The Blazers had them against the ropes, and this time they delivered the haymaker. Porter with 2 more of his game-high 26 points. Portland goes on to the 109-98 victory. The Blazers had to have this one, and now the series is tied.
Even though the Lakers, they slowed the game down, they tried to get into the offensive sense. We remained our composure. We came out and continued to attack the glass and executed down the stretch. And we did all the things a lot of critics said we couldn't do tonight. We did them in real good fashion, and that's what Trailblazer basketball is all about.
I think what we wanted to do is establish the tempo on the defensive end. We're going to make them work for every point that they got. They were hitting some really tough shots, and we can live with that. But we're going to contest every shot, every drive, and we're just going to try to play aggressive Trailblazer defense.
Well, we're looking to go down there and really play well and try to come out with 2, but I'm pretty sure we'll be happy to get 1.
So the Blazers wrap up Game 2 with a very important victory. Now it's on to L.A. Kevin Duckworth and the guys hoping they can at least get a split, maybe bring back 2. From the Memorial Coliseum, Ann Schatz, Newsroom 6 Sports.
Thanks, Ann. Well, it takes 15 wins to win the NBA championship. As you can see, the Blazers has now moved up to 8, past the halfway point. When we come back, Bill will introduce a special guest. But first, a look at the statistics from Game 2. Double teaming at half court, a little different ploy tonight we saw.
One of the things that's worked so well against Magic over the years, and very few players do it, when Magic is way out here at the half court, even in the back court, the people who were trailing the play, usually the big guys, Buck Williams tonight, Buck was coming in the transition game and coming over and trapping Magic in the middle, over on the side, and really slowing him up and working very, very hard all over the basketball court. A great job with Buck Williams. We're very lucky tonight to have with us a special guest, a premier sportscaster and sports writer from the NBA for many, many years, Mr. Pete Vecsey. How are you tonight, Pete?
How you doing, Billy?
Good. Pete, I'd like to get your opinion on how long do you think that Mike Dunleavy will go with Vlade Divac in the middle there?
Well, I think he definitely should think about using A.C. Green more often. It just doesn't make sense, Bill, that this has been one of your key guys for the Lakers, not one of Dunleavy's, but one of Pat Riley's for the last 4 or 5 years, and now he's not playing him hardly at all. He played 10 minutes in the first game and 3 tonight. It seems to me that if you're playing physical against a team that's playing such a physical style of play and they're trying to manhandle you, that you should put in one of your most physical players, if not your only physical player on the Lakers, and that's AC.
Pete, can the Lakers play a physical game much like the Blazers played tonight on their home court when they get to Inglewood on Friday night?
Well, sure. The idea is, as Dunleavy said, to come out and act, not react. And the key is not to overreact, so that the referees, get on you early. But they've got to play as roughhouse as the Blazers, because that's the Blazers' style.
Peter, I got a question for you. Rick Adelman received a lot of criticism for his substitution pattern in the fourth quarter of Game 1. It was a little different in the fourth quarter of this one. You think perhaps he was listening without thinking he was listening?
Well, I think he realized that it was justified, that he shouldn't have played Walter Davis at the beginning of the fourth quarter, especially since he hadn't played the entire game up until that time, and they didn't really have a cohesive backcourt with Davis and Ainge in there. So I think he's going to go with his key players, unless somebody's in deep foul trouble or somebody gets hurt.
Pete, were you surprised that the Blazers were able to contain Magic as well as they were tonight, particularly Clyde Drexler?
Well, I don't think it was really Drexler. I think that he had a lot of help, like you said, from Buck, and you showed how it was done. The game plan was to manhandle this team and to double-team Buck, which is also, Magic is Buck also, and take the ball out of his hands and make the clock wear down, milk it as much as possible, make him turn his back on the play. And they did that, and Buck Williams told me that he probably did it too much, that his coach told him at halftime that he should be more selective to cool it. But Buck said he was getting tired anyway, so he was going to cool it.
Hey, I know you never listen to the coach at halftime. You only listen to him before the game and after the game. Halftime, it's already done with. Pete, thanks a lot. Stay with us. We're going to have you on in the next segment, too.
Thanks a lot, Pete. Now, you were talking to Coach Mike Dunleavy after the game about that physical play. What was his reaction to the way the Blazers played Game 2?
Dunleavy was very concerned about the lack of aggressiveness by the Lakers tonight. The Trailblazers came out and just took it to the Blazers. I'm sure they're going to have a long talk home on the MGM Grand tonight and, as to what they're going to do, particularly the person who sits next to Vlade Divac.
Okay, this is what Mike had to say about that.
They are very physical at that position, and you know what happens is if you start the game that way, the whistle's not going to blow every time, and you keep coming at it and keep coming at it, and you know they got away with it. And for us, you know, we're going to have to change the way we play a little bit. We've got to become more physical and you know dish it out as opposed to be taking it.
Perhaps an omen for Game 3. When we come back, the keys to winning for Game 3. But first, an update on the Eastern Conference Championship. For the Blazers to win on the road in Inglewood.
I think the most important thing for the Blazers is that they continue their physical play. Don't worry about the referees making cheap calls. They're going to let them play in Los Angeles. Go out and really take it to them. Plus, I think that they have to continue the quick-hitting offense that they showed tonight. Don't stand around and wait. Most importantly, though, they've got to keep Magic in front of him. Make him be a shooter. Make him be a scorer. That's Clyde Drexler's job primarily. He had a big game tonight. He's got to continue that in Los Angeles. Continued clutch play, too. Now let's go back to Pete Vesey and ask him what he thinks the Los Angeles Lakers have to do.
Well, I think, number one, they've got to hope that Vlade starts fouling the Blazer elbows with his Adam's apple more often and quicker so they can get him out of the game and get AC Green in the game, which is one of the points also the key to winning for the Lakers. I believe, Dunleavy said it himself in your little bite there, that they've got to be more aggressive and they've got to match them physical play with physical play. But I think they also got to get more shots for Byron Scott. As torrid as he's been shooting, he only put up 12 shots tonight and made 8 of them. That's definitely not enough, Bill. I think that they've got to start setting screens for him also, besides him spotting up when Magic has the ball and draws the double team. They're definitely going to have to shake him loose.
It was interesting that they did not double off of Byron Scott tonight. They doubled off of Sam Perkins with Buck Williams a lot, or off of Vlade, and kept the man right on Byron Scott. And I do think you're right that we will see AC Green very soon.
Thank you, Peter, very much for joining us this evening. Now the venue switches to Los Angeles games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday. And we have word here at Newsroom 6 that the Blazers are planning to resurrect an old weapon for that series on the road. Could it be that Big Red is coming out of retirement to once again lead his Blazers to an NBA championship? The same Bill Walton that used to take Abdul-Jabbar to the well and wouldn't let him so much as take a sip. Sounds far-fetched, but look at this. Yes, that's Bill Walton himself, caught by our Newsroom 6 cameras, working out in the low post at the Coliseum against another wonder of medical science, Mitch Kupchak. Could it be, fused ankles and all, that Walton might still dominate the board? Time to pop the question. Is it true?
Did you see that shot? That was the ugliest looking thing I've ever seen.
I went through 15 minutes of videotape and you didn't make one of them.
Get underneath the hoop and get some rebounds. Let the shooters shoot like Pete Vesey.
Bill and I will be back on Friday, hopefully, to talk about a Blazer victory on the road. That's it, 109-98 to final. The Blazers even the Western Conference Series at a win apiece. Now back to the newsroom and Eric and Marcia.
Cost us any games yet.
Oh, there's a real slugfest going on with Anderson and Drexler down low.
Drexler's out. He's throwing Drexler out of the game.
Portland did pay the price last spring with 21 technicals in 21 playoff outings. The Blazers fussed and cussed all the way to the finals. Yet Portland's behavior in these playoffs belies their mad boy image. Only 4 unsportsmanlike technicals in the first 10 postseason games.
We've been too consistent all year long in our reaction and the way we respond to situations to have anything happen to us this year. If someone beats us, they're probably just going to beat us.
So Portland is once again primed to be kings of the Western Conference jungle. If they indeed have made their peace with the Zebras, they can unleash their full fury upon the Lakers or anyone else who dares get in their way. In Los Angeles, Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
And when SportsCenter returns, we'll have highlights from an afternoon. If that's the case in the Blazers last night, just simply wanted it more than the Lakers did because they were crashing the boards left and right, completely dominating the rebounding department. They'd like to do that again. This was Blazer basketball. They were bumping and grinding and scrapping after every loose ball. Buck Williams set the tone early. The rest of the team responded the rest of the way. To put it very simply, the Blazers were just intense last night, and that intensity paid off.
I just think our front line just really took control. Duck, Buck, and Jerome just really came out like animals and just controlled the whole game on the defensive end. But it all started on the boards.
I still think after looking at the game and just talking to the players, we think we can do a better job than we did last night in a lot of areas. And that's going to be our focus, is just try to get better each game.
Well, I knew they was human. You know, they have 3 guys in their team that have been in this situation before. The other guys haven't. And so I know that they're human just like we are. It's just a matter of us playing smart.
The Blazers will work out tomorrow at the Coliseum, then jump aboard Blazer One for the trip to Los Angeles. Game 3, of course, Friday night. Well, anyway, Pat Riley looks at it. He's a millionaire. The New York Knicks.
Most of the people I know can't camp out at G.I. Joe's overnight and try to get tickets to the games. And to me, it's just, I'm a fan. I enjoy watching the games.
To accommodate interested fans, the Blazers are gearing up to build a 16 to 20,000 seat arena next to the Memorial Coliseum. They held this public hearing to find out what people want in a new facility.
We intend to invest as much private capital as we possibly can while generating a reasonable return for the private risk that is taken.
It's that slice of public funds which has some taxpayers concerned. They ask, how will the Blazers pay for the new arena? Price estimates range from $125 to $150 million.
As a taxpayer, and especially in these times of Measure 5, where people have demonstrated concern over rising property values, I am quite concerned that this will result in a direct tax increase for us.
The Portland Development Commission will likely negotiate any public contribution to the arena. Government agencies could agree to improve the site, give lower-cost construction financing, or give the Blazers a break on property taxes. This season ticket holder thinks building a new arena would be worth the cost.
I would like to see it have a 20,000-seat facility. There's no question about that. And because we've got a real team out here, and we need to have a lot of people watching it.
Blazer management is hoping to have the public funds shored up by the end of this summer. They're shooting to open the new arena for up to 20,000 Blazer fans by the 1994-95 season. Elisa Kaiser, Newsroom 6.
I imagine a lot of people are having a hard time thinking about the new arena when they've got tomorrow to think about first.
That's right. The matter's at hand. The Lakers and the Blazers will tee it up again tomorrow in L.A. Blazers arrived in that city. We'll have all the happenings for you in just a second. Blazers arrived in Los Angeles relaxed, but very focused on the upcoming challenge against the Lakers. Their Western Conference Championship Series is knotted at 1 game apiece after Portland's convincing victory at home Tuesday night.
Well, we don't feel like we gave them a beating. We felt like we just won the game. And we felt we did everything fair and just played aggressively. And that's the way we play as a team.
How important is it for you to at least come away with 1 win down here?
It's very important. I think it's almost imperative. But we feel like we're the type of team that if we're playing well, we can win anywhere. So we'd like to prove to everyone that we're playing well at this point of the season.
And one last Blazer note, head coach Rick Adelman finished a distant second in Coach of the Year honors. Houston's Don Chaney won in a landslide with 96 votes. Adelman had 11. Boston's Chris Ford coming in third.
The Lakers are tied at 1 game apiece. They'll meet tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Before the Blazers left for L.A., they held practice today at the Coliseum. During the regular season, the Blazers beat the Lakers twice in L.A., so they're confident heading into Game 3.
We're good in the road all year. We're the best team in the league during the regular season, and we've won in L.A., and there's no reason we can't go in there and win if we play to our abilities.
I think we can come out and play much of the same the way we did the other night and make it a very physical and very...
We shot that interview during the dark. We didn't have the lights on for some reason. Meanwhile, the Lakers worked out the Great Western Forum in Los Angeles. The Lakers took a whipping on the boards, and they know a big factor in Game 3 will be the work underneath the baskets.
Game 3.
Well, it's been the key to the series. You know, first we were inside. I thought they were better in Game 2 inside than we were. So I think it's going to be a key throughout the series, no question.
And now that the Blazers have lost the home court advantage, Eric Johnson's trying to do his share to help the Blazers in Los Angeles. He's with the team in L.A., and today he was trying to spread the word about Blazer Mania.
Bring him on. The problem with L.A. is that they just don't seem to appreciate what the Blazers have accomplished this season. I figured we'd try to change that.
We're trying to drum up interest here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you got a tough job, huh?
Well, it's not an easy job, but, you know, I think we're up to it. No warriors. How about a Just Do It Portland sign for your bedroom, your refrigerator, your home? You're not a Blazer fan? Would you like a Just Do It Portland for your surfboard?
No, it's not my surfboard.
Oh, well, okay. Well, take care. Get these.
They're all part of town.
You're not a Blazer fan? We're trying to spread the gospel about the Trailblazers. Get people, drum up some interest. Get people interested.
You're in trouble.
You were a Laker hater?
Laker hater.
Shake my hand.
Lakers are number one. We're going all the way. World champions, all right?
Honk at you. There you go. Oh, that wasn't a very nice gesture now, was it? Oh, man.
I got a thought born at home.
I feel so unwanted. Yeah, all right. We'll leave. But if Buck Williams was here, we'd kick all their butts. That Eric's a brave man. Meanwhile, Houston Rockets coach Don Chaney named as the NBA Coach of the Year today. He led the Rockets to 52 wins and won in a landslide vote. Blazers coach Rick Adelman finished a distant second. Pittsburgh Penguins